This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Oh, welcome to DBL. We're here with friends and we're saying thank you for being here. We're watching with us because we're starting today with the news that came as a shock to a lot of people over the weekend. The death of our good friend Mathew Perry, of course, from the TV show Friends, was found in his LA home in his hot tub after an apparent drowning. He was 54 years old. Mathew was raised in Ontario, Canada. He appeared on several TV shows in the 90s and early 2000s, including Beverly Hills 90210, Jeff's favorite, and Scrubs. But of course, he was best known for playing Chandler Bing on Friends. Let's take a look.
Someone at work ate my sandwich.
Well, what did the police say? Come on, am I 19 or what?
Yes. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the dumbest a person can look, you are definitely 19.
Why is your family Scottish?
Why is your family Ross?
And if you let me, I will spend the rest of my life trying to make you feel the same way. Monica, will you marry me?
Yes.
Friends was a huge success, running for 10 seasons with an average viewership of 25 million for each episode. Check out some of this behind-the-scenes footage from E.T. from Friends' first season.
Wouldn't you say of the people in the cast so far, your favorite is me?
Yeah.
See? What are you doing to eat?
I'm doing ET right now.
You're a little alien guy? Jennifer Aniston, who plays Rachel, was saying something. What? I don't remember what it was. So, tell us about the show Friends, Courtney.
The show.
Cox. Sorry, I'm just gonna get through. Right through this way. Excuse me. This way? Yeah, right there.
Mathew's success didn't end with Friends. He was also in several movies like, oh, I love this, the romantic comedy Fools Rush In, The Whole Nine Yards, and 17 Again. Behind the scenes, Mathew struggled with very serious addiction issues, spending more than half of his life in treatment. It's something he spoke about very openly in his memoir and during an interview with Diane Sawyer last year. Take a look.
Your disease is just outside, just doing one-arm push-ups, just waiting for you, waiting to get you alone. Because alone, you lose to the disease. And now I finally feel okay and feel like I've got some strength. I've developed some safety nets around this. You know, for some reason, it's obviously because I was on Friends, more people will listen to me. So I've got to take advantage of that. I've got to help as many people as I can.
So how did you all feel when you heard the news? I always knew he said he was going to be a helper and he had changed his house into the Perry Rehab Center. Al, what did you think when you heard the news?
The first thing I thought about Chris Farley in terms of being beloved by everyone, somebody that kind of cuts across, you know, just all genres and age groups and defines a time in a lot of people's lives, and how everybody would look at whether it's Mathew Perry or Chris Farley and be like, you literally have everything. Not only do you have money, but you have social currency because people start crying when they meet you. And it still highlights that this is a disease. And it's hard to think of it as a disease, Erica, because when you see people in the full throes of it, they look like they're having a great time. They're in Vegas. They're on top of a table having a good, but this disease kills people. You cannot control it. And I hope that his passing kind of shows people that this is something that you're never quite past and that people that you love and you think have everything in the world are struggling with all the time. So I just hope that's his legacy, along with just like remembering all the good moments that he gave people.
Yeah, what did you think, Erica?
It's obviously sad. I watched that Diane Sawyer interview and it wasn't the feeling that I thought I would get from the interview wasn't the feeling that I had. Like, I felt like I was more alarmed by the situation, even though he was talking about it in retrospect.
Right.
What alarmed you?
Well, obviously he isn't communicating the way that we were used to him communicating. He was talking about the toll that it's taken on him physically and mentally, emotionally, and that was something that you could see. It's sad, you know. You think about like how people think about success and the things that we attribute to success. And this was someone who had manifested all of it. And I remember, Al, a while ago, you were talking about how this disease, or the idea of someone having everything, just makes you more of who you are, so it feeds a devil in some capacity. And so many people with far less resources are struggling in the same way. And I mean, it's sad.
It's just very sad. We're rewatching Friends too, and it's just weird to see him so alive in those. Tributes to Mathew have been pouring in. His family gave this statement to People saying, quote, "We are heartbroken by the tragic loss of our beloved son and brother. Mathew brought so much joy to the world, both as an actor and a friend. The Friends creators said he was a brilliant talent. From the day we first heard him embody the role of Chandler Bing, there was no one else for us." Maggie Wheeler, who played Janice, remember Janice on Friends, posted this saying, quote, "What a loss. The world will miss you, Mathew Perry. The joy you brought to so many in your too short lifetime will live on." I thought this was incredibly sweet. Gwyneth Paltrow posted about meeting Mathew in 1993 at a theater festival, saying, "We drove out to swim in creeks, had beers in the local college bars. We kissed in a field of long grass. It was a magical summer." Mathew recently talked about how he wanted to be remembered. Watch this.
I would like to be remembered as somebody who lived well, loved well, was a seeker, and his paramount thing is that he wants to help people. That's what I want.
And he did. Speaking of people Mathew helped, check out this video that Hank Azaria posted. Take a look.
The night I went into AA, Mathew brought me in. The whole first year I was sober, we went to meetings together. And he was such a great, I got to tell him this, he was just, as a sober person, he was so caring and giving and wise, and he totally helped me get sober.
Jeff, what do you think about hearing all that?
Over the weekend, it was it was nice to see all the tributes on Instagram, you know, and even when it happened, I saw a TMZ alert. I was watching a football game, like, wow, Mathew Perry died, and a couple of my friends and my neighbors were sitting around, and we just talked about it for like an hour. Yeah. And then I couldn't believe how many of my friends or friends in my Instagram feed had pictures with Mathew Perry, meaning he's very giving with his time. Right? So this shocked a lot of people over the weekend, but going back to like what Erica said, you saw him physically deteriorating because of the drugs. He went in and out of rehab 65 times.
Yeah, he spent like $9 million.
Yeah, so I mean, it's there. As much as he helped other people, it's sad he couldn't help himself at some point.
Right.
You know, especially how many people loved him. It doesn't matter how much money you have or what assets you have or what you have at your fingertips.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter unless you want to get sober, and that's how alarming addiction is.
And isn't that the definition of a disease?
Yeah.
How many people with billions of dollars? Steve Jobs, all that money couldn't help him with cancer. With a real disease, it doesn't matter how much money you have. And in a weird way with this disease, like you were saying, Erica, it just it knocks down some of the barriers that regular folks would have to at least not have access to all the vices.
Right, and at least he taught us that in his memoir. Thank God he was so generous also with his teachings, right? He was there, he gave it to us. And one of the saddest things I remember is he said he can't remember a lot of filming Friends because he was so gone. And those are some of the best memories some of us had growing up watching Friends. So I hope he's at peace. I hope his family is okay. And yeah, we have the one where we lost a friend coming up on DBL. We're talking all about whether stepping out of your comfort zone really helps you grow as a person, and the best celebrity Halloween costumes from the weekend as Heidi Klum teases her big reveal.
All right. Well, Erica, obviously, I'm not gonna say obviously. Did you watch Friends?
I did.
Yeah. So, like, where were you when you found out about this news?
I was at home and I got the alert, and then the group chat started blowing up. Did say to Anthony, my husband, I was like, it's so crazy to me because we obviously talk about, you know, when people pass away and tragedy and all these things. And it's like, oh my God, this happened. You're looking at the news, and then you might have some conversations, and then you literally continue living your life. And it's like, what imprint are we leaving, you know, on this world? It's like, I don't know. My husband was like, well, that's dark. And I was like, it is dark, but it's true, you know? It's like...
Did y'all see the picture of him in the hot tub as his
I
last
did,
Instagram?
yeah.
And there was something weirdly peaceful. I know that sounds weird, but he was like, music all around me, feeling water all... I don't know.
Yeah,
It just
no,
made... I don't know. I was hoping he's at peace at least. But it's a very... I
mean,
don't know.
65 times. I can't imagine. I will say this, you know, in terms of what imprint we leave on the world. Like, it's funny this morning. Anytime I feel like I'm not ready to start the day, there's a song I put on by a rapper who's passed away, and I've been doing it for years, and it resets my day.
What's
and
the
it resets "Keep It Thorough" by Prodigy.
Really?
Yeah, and it just, you know, he's a person that came up hard scramble, and you know, he was a very direct person, and I kind of remind myself to go through my day like that. So
Wow, I gotta download this. So yeah.
Welcome back. We hear it all the time. It's important to step out of your comfort zone. But what does that really even mean? And why is that so important? Well, according to some experts, staying in your comfort zone doesn't allow for personal growth at all. So here are some of the reported benefits of being uncomfortable. First, you will become a stronger person because you will override a fear you might have otherwise had. Next, it will enhance your creativity by breaking what you're used to and train you to take more risks. And it will increase your self-confidence by setting you up to depend on yourself. Plus, it can also help you meet new people and engage in new activities. Jeff, this is your motto.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Growth begins at the end of your comfort zone. That's the only way you grow. People need more adversity in life. And when I talk like that, people don't want to hear it because they're at home and they don't want to hear it.
They're comfortable.
For myself,
Right.
Yeah, they're comfortable, very
Right.
comfortable. For myself, this is something I challenge myself with all the time, months at a time. Right? If it during Lent, I give up meat. If it's the beginning of the year, I don't drink. If it's in the middle of the year, I'll give up dairy or something. I love, this sounds bad, but I love to like deprive myself of things for the goal and the way I feel at the end of it. So if it's a month and I'm like, I'm sticking to it, I really do. And then at the end of that month, it changes me as a person. Because
How do you feel changed?
I feel like I accomplished something. Even if it's small, just giving up a certain food that I love or making sure I work out every single day. At the end of that month or whatever I set that time limit to, I feel like a different person. And guess what? What people say or what's written on the internet or little things that are going on don't bother me because I have my own goals I need to reach. So those little things don't bother me because I want to finish my goals at the end of it. So that's kind of how I live my life. I know it's not for everybody, but this is something I really, really take to heart.
I was going to say, Erica, when we started with this topic, I thought about you, Tori. I will never forget when we went to do that shoot at the aquarium. Sorry, I'm not going to say the word. But honestly, Tori has a real fear of the W word. The big things.
You can
in
say
the ocean.
whales. I can say whales.
It's okay.
Okay.
And we joke a lot.
Everyone's like, what are you?
We joke about it a lot on the show, but it's a real phobia, and to the point where when we were in the parking lot, I called the producers and I was like, I don't know if she should do this.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was really bad, and I was really proud of you for putting on that wetsuit and talking about. I mean, that. It was. I was really proud of you.
Thank
and I just
you,
want
Al.
to tell you, like, it's. I really respected that you did that.
Thank you. One of my Buddhist books, or Pema, always talks about getting comfortable with uncertainty and reaching a hard place, getting to tolerate discomfort. What do you think about that, Erica?
Yeah,
Miss
I mean,
fitness competitions over here.
Yeah, because I'll do things like that because I believe in setting goals and following through on those goals. And a lot of times it's a very public thing because it also gives me a sense of accountability. I remember the first fitness competition I did, and my boss came in and he was like, why would you have said that you're going to do that on the air? And I was like, because now I really have to do it. But even just, I think we talk about things like physical things, but even you answering a phone.
Totally.
When you have like such a fear, you know, like those are things that people don't give themselves credit for.
Totally agree with you.
But it is just as important as getting on a stage, you know,
and
to
doing
compete.
stand-up or something, right?
Yeah, because I think that people have different boundaries, and we don't necessarily appreciate the gravity of certain people's boundaries, but they exist.
They
And
really
so
do.
Anytime you do something that's outside of something that you would normally do, that is an opportunity for growth. It doesn't have to be this huge.
That's right. It's not
grand
Everest.
thing.
It could be getting the, sitting in a middle seat and you're uncomfortable and you handle it and you're fine. It could be little things like that, but just don't forget to congratulate yourself and move on, because you will grow as a person, as Jeff said. Coming up on DBL, from Britney to Barbie, we're talking all about the Halloween costumes that celebrities wore over the weekend. Welcome back to DBL. Many stars were getting their spook on this weekend. Oh boy, by dressing up for Halloween. Wow. Paris Hilton went as her friend Britney Spears as the flight attendant from her Toxic video. That's Elle's favorite.
Yes.
She captioned the post on Instagram, writing, "In honor of our queen, happy Halloween."
Her head's on the wrong side, stupid.
I'm triggered. I'm triggered. Jessica Alba also went as Toxic Britney in the bejeweled bodysuit from the same video as Britney, and her friend as Britney from the Baby One More Time era. Okay. Barbie was also a big hit. Country star Kelsey Ballerini went as Margot Robbie's Barbie from the movie. Keke Palmer went all out and dressed up as the Bride of Frankenstein. Whoa, that looks awesome. Cindy Crawford and her husband Randy went as Danny and Sandy from Grease. And Megan Thee Stallion went as the Flower from Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. Of course, everyone was waiting to see what Heidi Klum is going to be for Halloween. The Queen of Halloween posted a photo of herself lying nude on a couch, okay, and said her motto this Halloween is "Go big or go home."
That works for me.
Yeah, that's
That's
I think
her
we're done
costume.
here. Yeah.
that was quite the tease.
Yeah.
So go big or go home. Any thoughts of what it might be? What if it's a home? What if she's a scary new home owner with with prices?
Tori just started that sentence and had no idea where it was going. She goes, what if it's a scary new homeowner and their mortgage needed a co-signer?
Look at that. All right, let's take a look at her
It had something to do with like that couch. Oh, sorry.
No, this is her worm phase. Remember this? Her Fiona Shrek phase.
Right.
Her thriller.
Is it weird? I thought that Halloween was. It seems like people are dressing up kind of as the same thing. I thought Halloween was a chance to like be creative and almost use puns and make things kind of where you have to put the outfit together. Like, oh, you're, this. It's just like, okay, everybody's Barbie.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, Halloween is it's commercial, so whatever is popular at that time is going to be what most people are doing.
Which is very
I don't think anyone has ever guessed what Heidi Klum was going to be, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
No one saw the worm coming.
No one saw the worm coming, and we liked it.
I'm going to Snuffleupagus. That's what she's going to be.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Because the couch is a hint.
Yeah, with the fuzzy.
Yeah.
I love Snuffleupagus.
Oh, that's actually a really good guess.
I love Snuffleupagus.
I got a couple of them.
Okay.
All right.
The Kardashians are also having a bit of fun dressing up for Halloween. Kourtney, who is expecting her first child with Travis Barker, recreated her sister Kim's look from the Met Gala 10 years ago. We don't know if this was a diss or not because the two sisters have been feuding on the show. That's a good look. I mean, it's a good copy.
It's a good way to bond with your sister.
How did Karen feel when she wrote diss?
Good call, Karen. Good call.
The word diss.
Speaking of Kim, she went all out this year, transformed her Hidden Hills mansion into a complete haunted house with skulls, skeletons, cobwebs, and a smorgasbord of severed limbs. She's getting some backlash because people thought it was in bad taste.
For Halloween?
I
can
know,
see if
dudes.
It was March. Yeah, you can't do this for Halloween
When
now?
do you do that then?
I don't.
Do you never do that? I think it's fun. I like when people take it seriously.
I think you're well within your rights to have a scary house for Halloween. Did anybody do anything outside of their home for Halloween this year?
I put up a hand, a severed hand. I put up a hand.
Just a hand?
Just one.
Okay.
Just a reminder, you don't want to miss our special Halloween episode tomorrow because all 5 of our hosts are going to be dressed up. And this year is going to be bigger and better than last Halloween, which is no easy feat. Last year, we went as the top newsmakers of the year. Sam, of course, was a very convincing Pete Davidson. Al was Will Smith with his Oscar. Erica was Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek. Jeff, oh, she looks good, doesn't she? Jeff was Ellen.
Yeah.
He ripped his suit jacket doing that. And I was Dr. Fauci.
Don't ask. Just
Get the Vicks. So we can't wait for our costumes for tomorrow, and no one will know what they are.
Will you post a picture of the one severed hand at your house?
Yeah. I think people think it's like a problem.
Oh, yeah. I think it's more of a
That
cry for
hand
help.
house.
Yes,
Yeah.
all right.
We'll be right back. The hand house. Welcome back. Winter is just around the corner. We got some bathroom features that are easy to add to keep you warm. We're talking about in today's tip, sponsored by Jacuzzi. First, add cozy rugs by your shower tub and sink to help you feel warm and keep your feet cozy. Next, add a towel hook or a leaning ladder next to the shower for your towels and robes so you stay warm getting out of the shower. You can take this a step further by adding a plug-in towel warmer to your bathroom, but don't touch it because you'll burn yourself, which I did. If you want to start your remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched stress-free remodeling process. Call 1-800-990-6834 or visit jacuzzibathremodel.com.
I want that towel warmer.
Oh, it's so
it's
nice.
It's worth the risk.
It is. It's worth it. And when you wrap it around yourself, you feel like in your own little spa.
All right. Well,
It's worth the risk after Tori burned her hand.
it's the little things in life. I feel like that, yeah, just having a nice warm towel. I don't ask for much, Erica.
I want you to get whatever
I feel
your
like
heart
you, of all
desires.
people, have a towel warmer.
I do
And
not have a
do you have
towel
heated
warmer.
bathroom floors?
I do not.
Yeah, but are you going to get them?
Maybe one day.
There you
I
go.
don't know.
There you go.
Shoot for the stars.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.